Hello again in the crypto world, DeFi, IoT. Let's talk a little bit today. How is the Russian-Ukraine conflict, the Canadian conflict, the border conflict, the United States, how is all this going to affect cryptocurrencies? We're seeing some people sell off. I heard this morning from a famous YouTuber saying that, hey, people are scared right now of crypto because of all these global events taking place. Is that true? I don't know, man. Because crypto was created to be the coin of crisis, wasn't it? Let's talk about this right now. We got the whole Russia-Ukraine thing going on. I'm hearing people say, well, hey, you know what? That's going to really affect cryptocurrency. Let's talk a little bit about that. What really will it affect and where will cryptocurrency fall? I think we need to clarify these issues. So here, let's talk about this. Remember something. This has been my passion of study for 20 years. I know a little bit about this. I'm not an expert, but I know a little bit about this. Actually, a lot. Let's talk about what some of the side effects would be. Now, I might not get my numbers exactly right here because I didn't do my follow-ups before we did this video. I wanted to get this out because I think it's important. Look, here's something right now. Here's what I do know. If Russia does invade Ukraine, which we know that the Biden administration right now needs to have some sort of a brush off. Let's look over here, right? Border issues going on. You know, we got to ignore that. We got to ignore what's going on north of the border in Canada. We need to look at over here. And we got to do something about this. Now, we understand there are actually reports that the Biden administration's family has received support from Ukraine for some years now. So what is this politics? Is this really about defending freedom when so many of them are trying to take away freedoms of own American people? Now, I'm not going to get into that today, but I think we have to understand the underlying concepts of why the U.S. is going to take this stand. And then Kamala Harris comes out and announces that, hey, we all need to defend these principles of freedom together, which is kind of ironic. And then she says, we're all going to pay a price together too. Gas prices are going to go up. We're going to see higher inflation than what we're talking about. How is that going to affect cryptocurrencies? And why are so many people selling off? Like I heard on videos, YouTubers saying cryptocurrency is being sold off because there's instability right now between Ukraine and Russia, and they're afraid that the market's going to crash and it's going to take cryptocurrency down with it. Well, that to me is completely illogical. Because if there is going to be more inflation, it's not going to affect cryptocurrency. That's the alternative coin to replace the fiat currencies that are affected and devalued due to inflation. Let's take a look at the scenario here. We live, our company resides in Latin America. Okay. Now, what takes place a lot of times in these countries, and you've seen it now in North America as well. You're seeing these things take place everywhere, and people are rising up. They're shutting down the countries. Well, this has been a practice down here for many, many years. And where I live, the country where we are now, where we're residing, you rise gas prices 10 cents. They shut down the country just in 2019 for over 2 weeks for a 10-cent gas price rise. Imagine what's going to happen next. Ukraine invades Russia. Russia puts out about, if I'm not mistaken, about, I don't know, it's 500 or 500,000 barrels. I think it's 500 barrels a day. I don't know. My numbers could be wrong there. It's 500 or 500,000. But let's look at what the percentages are going to be, and that's going to be worked for us. Look, if Russia produces 500 or 500,000 barrels a day of crude oil, and they go to war with Ukraine, there's talks that that will reduce down to about 2 to 250 or 250,000 barrels of crude oil a day. So that's basically going to cut it in half, or maybe even more, of the amount of crude oil that Russia is going to produce. Now, Biden comes out and puts sanctions on their pipelines, on their oil lines. So now we can't even buy anything that's going to come out of Russia. So what's that going to do to U.S. electricity bills? Well, it's going to go sky high, go through the roof. Electricity is going to increase in price everywhere, and gas prices are going to increase in price everywhere, which is going to cause greater inflation. Now, down here where we live, imagine if gas prices go up $1, $2, or $3, these countries will be shut down in already crippled economies. And they're going to need an alternative currency. Where we live, the US dollar is used. With this inflation, it's only going to weaken the US dollar. People can say, well, war is good. Well, they're not talking about going to war. They're talking about just being there to give the smoke screen, because if they go to war in an election year, that's not going to look good coming November. So I don't think we'll involve US troops, so to speak. They'll be there, they'll get shot at, but they're not going to be able to go and shoot, which is typical of American policy as of late. Now, I'm not getting into the politics of it. We got to understand this, though, if we really want to know where cryptocurrency is going to fall. So what bothered me this morning was seeing this. Well, the reason Planet Watch currency is down is because Ukraine is going to go into Russia. Ukraine and Russia don't have anything to do with Planet Watch. The reason Planet Watch is down is because Planet Watch, at this point, even though we're invested in them heavily, has no clients to buy their data. That's the problem. Planet Watch. And because they had problems with the awares and they weren't paying, and the cartel wasn't paying fully for a long time, people began to go out and start investigating. Hey, is this really what they say it is? And they began to poo-poo on the project. And so what's happening with Planet Watch is Planet Watch needs to go out now and find some clients. They need to find people to sell this data to. The problem's going to be you only have indoor data. You only have type 2s and type 3s that hit saturation point. Outdoor data, and part of the problem with Planet Watch is that they have not produced the actual machinery needed for us to be able to put it up, to produce the data that really governments and scientists need outdoor. If they got the outdoor, they can start getting clients that later, insurance agents and so forth for life insurance, even your medical now, because it's all more of a socialized, like more of a collective medical, they will begin to buy that data of what's in your home, that indoor data, and be able to rate your rates according to the type of environment you live in. So there's a future for it. I'm not mocking that, but he's completely missing the point here. And I really want to just go into something. I want to talk. Look, I'm going to read something to you from this book. And these are actually experts. And I got to be careful what I read, because I don't want you to misinterpret what I'm trying to say here, right? What I'm trying to show here is that we have traditional the medical institutions, the pharmaceutical groups, that have their solutions to these band-aids to problems, to our different illnesses that exist, right? And we have a sector that's completely being forgot about. We're completely overstepping. It's funny, because as I grew up in the 70s and 80s, this sector I'm going to talk about now, the health food sector, where we eat healthy, we exercise, we take care of ourselves, that was the focus. But then we came out and poo-pooed on all that, saying, yeah, but that just makes people feel bad. If they're overweight or whatever, they feel bad about themselves. Well, actually, you need to feel bad about yourself and get yourself in shape. And I'm right there with you. I'm a little overweight right now too. I need to get myself back in shape. I went from being a champion bodybuilder to having a saggy chest and a belly now. I got to get my butt back in shape too. So I'm preaching to the choir. I know, and I got to practice what I'm preaching right now. And I'm starting to do it. So let's make a resolution to change the way we think. And let's change the way we think about what the alternative is going to be to maintain an economy if we have this crisis and these shutdowns of economy. Where we live, if gas prices go up, they're going to shut down the economy. They will stand up and they will shut down the economy for months on end. And that's only going to collapse this economy worse. And where's the dollar going to go with more inflation? It's going to get weaker. What will strengthen out there? Well, you might have the yuan, the digital yuan strengthen. You might have the Russian ruble strengthen. Or those are controlled. Or you just might have to have an alternative. Okay, well, you can say you can go to gold and silver. And that's what I'm hearing people say too. The problem with gold and silver is this. It's only valuable according to how much of that's on the market at one time. That's all controlled by whom? Governments. So There are bodies and private entities that work with governments to control the amount of gold and silver. So I can buy gold, I can buy silver, and if government wants to, they just collaborate with those mines and they just dump more in the market. Boom, it goes down in value. Okay, you can say, well, but it still have sort of an intrinsic value because there'll be nothing else if fiat collapses and loses its power, like the Sucre did in Ecuador. You can have even the peso in Argentina. Even you had the Cruzeiro in Brazil when I lived there. They all collapsed. They're gone. It's the real now. It's different currencies, different coins. Now in Panama too, you had problems there with the you have all these problems with fiat currencies that collapse all the time. So you got to have to stable them. Well, gold and silver were traditional, but are they anymore? I would venture to say that no. Now, do we buy gold and silver? Yes, but it's the smallest part of our portfolio. And actually, the reason being is because governments can still control that. What is outside of control, decentralized, is cryptocurrency. So where you're going to see a sell-off right now so people can have their money back right now to use it, to move around, do what they need to do, yeah, you'll see that. But then you're going to see people go, hey, I got no place else to trade or buy things here. People aren't going to want my dollar if the crisis is going to hit like they say it's going to hit, and people are running for better refuge and taking their dollars out. Where are you going to put it? It's going to come back in their cryptocurrency. And I am very confident that you're going to see cryptocurrency take its dip. Then you're going to see it come back because it's the only alternative that's decentralized. And it has enough depth and breadth to it now that we can adopt this in our economies. And the governments know that, and that scares them. So I'm going to say this. We got to change the way we think. We got to get away from that traditional, hey, let's put a Band-Aid on it, and get into what's really going to be long-lasting, nutritional for us. And that is blockchain and cryptocurrency. Do we have a way to go on that? Yeah, like me, I got to get rid of this belly, but I want to get back in their shape. And if I want to do it, I get myself in discipline it, and I put myself to work. That's what we need to do here with crypto. Let's go out and tell our friends the truth about crypto. Let's not be in crypto just for the financial aspect of it. Let's be into it because it gives us that alternative that we can go to. It's going to be consistent and it's going to be governed by the people. The governments are always going to try to step in, but we, the people, will always be able to maneuver on blockchain and smart contracts and be able to maintain a freedom, a decentralized, responsible freedom on cryptocurrencies. I just want to read something here. Just read here. Okay, so cryptocurrencies, so what you have today is the traditional banking system needs a true remedy, and cryptocurrencies offer that remedy. Listen here. We have to resist fear. We have to resist hate. We have to absolutely not become victims of fear-mongering. We don't have the luxury to be hopeless. To be alive today means hope is something you must cultivate on a daily basis. Cultivating hope is cultivating resistance. Robert A. Kennedy Jr. reminds us, the enemy of big tech, big data, big oil, big pharma, and the medical cartel, the government totalitarian elements that are trying to oppress us, that are trying to rob us of our liberties and of our democracy and of our freedoms of thought and our freedom of expression, our freedom of assembly, and our freedoms that give dignity to all humanity, even our freedoms of right to own property. Let's try to strategize how we can defeat the current attempt of a coup by the global elites and the digital dictators that build the new future. And that includes Facebook, that is healthy, regenerative, just, participatory, and democratic. It's not discriminatory. Cryptocurrency is not discriminatory. Is fiat currency discriminatory? Yes, it is. Crypto is not. If the government gets involved, it will be discriminatory. And it will actually segregate out even into races. We need to stop that. How do we do that? We support, we hold. We don't go liquidate our current cryptocurrencies. We're not stopping what we're doing. We're going to keep going forward because we believe cryptocurrency is that hope and alternative for tomorrow. There is hope out there. So don't get down. Don't get in despair. It might go down. Write it out. And we'll be in this together, collectively, all of us, representing a new medium of exchange controlled by and governed by the people, a true democracy. DeFi IoT Latin America, hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up in that algorithm. Support our channel, please. We just want to help people become better off. We hope you enjoyed this segment of our video with DeFi IoT. Remember, we're not professional advisors. We do this as a business, as a hobby, and we study, we experiment, and we want to share it with you. If you can get some benefit from this, great. What we do is we go out, we purchase with our own money, and we experiment to see what true results are. We want you to be able to share in our experiences so you don't have to lose like we have. If you can win where we've won, fantastic. Remember to do your own research and your own homework. It's very important before you make any decisions. We will see you in our next video.